Keep going until you win. Introduction: the moment most people quit. There comes a moment in every dream where the excitement disappears. The motivation fades. The applause stops. The results don't come as quickly as you expected. And a quiet voice begins to whisper, "Maybe this isn't for you." That voice has destroyed more dreams than failure ever could. Because the greatest enemy of success is not failure. It is quitting. The truth is that almost every successful person you admire stood exactly where you are now. They experienced rejection, disappointment, sleepless nights, financial struggles, self-doubt, and moments when giving up seemed like the smartest decision. But they kept going. Not because they always felt confident. Not because life became easier. Not because someone rescued them. They kept going because they decided that quitting would hurt more than continuing. Think about a seed planted in the ground. For weeks, nothing appears on the surface. If you judge the seed too early, you would think nothing was happening. But underground, roots are growing. Strength is developing. Life is preparing for the right moment to break through. Your life works the same way. Just because you cannot see immediate results doesn't mean nothing is happening. Some victories are invisible before they become visible. Some blessings are growing beneath the surface. Some breakthroughs require patience before they can be revealed. Today's message is for every person who feels tired. For every person who has been rejected. For every person who has failed more times than they can count. For every person wondering if success will ever come. This is your reminder. Keep going. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Today. Because you may be one step away from the breakthrough you've been praying for. Throughout this journey, you'll discover 10 life-changing lessons that separate those who quit from those who eventually win. And each chapter will prepare you for the next, because the greatest lesson comes at the very end. So stay with me until the final chapter. The lesson that could completely change the direction of your life. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Most people quit too soon. Imagine spending years climbing a mountain. The journey is exhausting. Your legs ache. The weather changes without warning. There are moments when the path disappears, and you wonder if you've taken the wrong direction. Every step feels heavier than the last. Then, just a few hundred meters from the summit, you stop. Not because the mountain became impossible. Not because the summit disappeared. But because you convinced yourself that it wasn't worth taking another step. As painful as that sounds, this is exactly what happens to countless people every single day. They start a business, but quit after a few slow months. They begin learning a new skill, but stop when progress feels too slow. They chase a dream, but abandon it after hearing no one too many times. What they don't realize is that success often hides behind the final obstacle. Life has a strange way of testing commitment before revealing rewards. The question isn't whether you will face challenges. The question is whether you will still be standing when the opportunity finally arrives. There is an old saying. The darkest hour is just before dawn. Whether or not you've heard it before, the message is timeless. The moment that feels most hopeless is sometimes the moment just before everything begins to change. A story of persistence. Years ago, there was a young man named Daniel. Daniel grew up in a small town where opportunities were limited. His family worked hard, but money was always scarce. As a teenager, he dreamed of becoming an entrepreneur. People laughed. They told him to be realistic. People like us don't become successful, they said. Still, Daniel refused to let those voices define him. He started a tiny business selling simple products. At first, he made almost nothing. Some days he sold one item. Other days he sold nothing at all. Friends who had encouraged him in the beginning slowly disappeared. Family members asked him when he would get a real job. There were nights when he stared at the ceiling, wondering if everyone else was right. One rainy afternoon, after months of disappointment, Daniel packed his small box of unsold products. He told himself that if nothing changed by the end of the week, he would quit. The next morning, he almost didn't go out. I've already failed, he thought. But something inside him whispered, go one more time. So he did. That day, he met a customer who loved his work and placed the biggest order he had ever received. That customer recommended him to others. Within months, the small business that seemed destined to fail had become profitable. Years later, Daniel looked back on that rainy afternoon and realized something powerful. If he had quit one day earlier, he never would have met the opportunity that changed everything. How many people walk away just before their breakthrough? No one knows. But it happens more often than we think. Your next opportunity may not arrive with a warning. It may come disguised as an ordinary day. That's why consistency matters more than temporary motivation. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you moving. Persistence carries you across the finish line. So when you feel like giving up, ask yourself one question. What if my breakthrough is just one more step away? That single question has kept countless dreamers moving when everything inside them wanted to stop. Remember this. Every expert was once a beginner. Every champion was once unknown. Every successful person once looked like they were failing. The difference was simple. They kept going. But persistence alone isn't enough. If you're walking in the wrong direction, working harder won't lead you to the right destination. In the next chapter, we'll discover how to keep moving forward wisely, avoid the mistakes that trap so many people, and learn why changing your strategy is sometimes the key to finally winning. Don't miss it. Chapter 2: Work smarter, not just harder. There is a common belief that success belongs to the person who works the hardest. Hard work is important. It builds character. It develops discipline. It teaches resilience. But hard work without direction can leave you exhausted instead of successful. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water while there is a hole in the bottom. You can keep pouring more and more water into it. You can work twice as hard. You can spend twice as much time. But until you fix the hole, the bucket will never stay full. Life works the same way. Sometimes the problem isn't that you're not working enough. Sometimes the problem is that you're repeating the same mistake over and over again. Winning requires persistence. But it also requires wisdom. Every setback has a lesson hidden inside it. Every failure contains information. Every disappointment teaches something that success never could. The people who eventually win are not those who never fail. They are the ones who keep learning. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That simple shift in thinking can change your entire life. A story about the woodcutter. In a quiet village, there lived two woodcutters who competed every year to see who could cut the most trees before sunset. The first woodcutter believed that success came from never stopping. He swung his axe from morning until evening. He refused to take breaks because he thought every minute mattered. The second woodcutter surprised everyone. Every hour, he stopped for a few minutes. People laughed. "You're wasting time," they shouted. But he smiled and continued his routine. When sunset arrived, everyone gathered to count the trees. To everyone's surprise, the second woodcutter had cut far more trees than the first. The exhausted competitor couldn't understand it. "I worked longer than you," he said. "I never stopped." The second woodcutter smiled and replied, "Every time I rested, I sharpened my axe." That was the difference. He wasn't avoiding work. He was preparing himself to work better. Many people are like the first woodcutter. They stay busy every day. They rush from one task to another. They wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. Yet they rarely stop to improve their skills, rethink their strategy, or learn something new. Being busy is not the same as making progress. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is pause long enough to sharpen your axe. Read a book. Learn a new skill. Ask for advice. Study your mistakes. Improve your mindset. These moments are not signs of weakness. They are investments in your future. Remember this. Persistence without learning leads to frustration. Persistence with learning leads to growth. Growth leads to opportunities. And opportunities lead to victory. So if you've been working hard without seeing results, don't assume you're destined to fail. Instead, ask yourself, what can I improve today that my future self will thank me for? One new habit. one better decision, one lesson applied consistently. That's how extraordinary lives are built. The goal isn't to become perfect overnight. The goal is to become a little better every single day. Because small improvements, repeated consistently, create remarkable results over time. Never be ashamed to adjust your strategy. The destination matters more than your pride. Keep moving. Keep learning. Keep improving. And above all, keep going until you win. But even with the right strategy, there is another obstacle that quietly destroys countless dreams. It isn't failure. It isn't lack of talent. It isn't lack of opportunity. It's fear. In the next chapter, you'll discover how fear keeps people trapped. Hear the inspiring story of someone who refused to let fear decide their future, and learn how courage can become your greatest advantage. Stay with me, because this lesson could be the one that finally sets you free. Chapter 3. Don't let fear decide your future. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in the world. It has stopped people from starting businesses. It has stopped students from pursuing their dreams. It has stopped talented people from sharing their gifts. It has stopped ordinary people from becoming extraordinary. The most dangerous thing about fear is that it often sounds like reason. It whispers, "What if you fail? What if people laugh at you? What if you're not good enough? What if you lose everything?" The longer you listen to those questions, the smaller your world becomes. But here's a truth that successful people understand. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to move forward even when fear is standing in your way. Every great achievement begins with someone who decided that fear would not have the final word. The story of Sarah's second chance. Sarah had dreamed of becoming a fashion designer since she was a little girl. She filled notebooks with sketches. She spent hours learning how to sew. She imagined opening her own clothing brand one day. But after finishing school, reality arrived. She showed her designs to several people. Some ignored her. Others criticized her. One person even laughed and said, "Nobody will ever buy clothes made by you." Those words stayed with her. Slowly, she packed away her sewing machine. Her notebooks gathered dust. She accepted a job she didn't enjoy because it felt safer than chasing her dream. Years passed. Every morning she woke up with the same feeling. She was surviving. But she wasn't living. One evening, while cleaning her room, she found one of her old sketchbooks. As she turned the pages, tears filled her eyes. She remembered the excitement she once had. She remembered the dreams she had buried because of fear. That night, she made a promise. "I will give myself one more chance." She didn't quit her job immediately. Instead, she started small. Every evening after work, she spent 2 hours designing clothes. She shared her work online. At first, almost nobody noticed. Weeks passed. Months passed. Then one customer placed an order. Soon another customer followed. Then another. People began sharing photos wearing her designs. Her confidence grew with every step. Years later, Sarah owned a successful fashion business. When people asked what changed her life, they expected her to mention money, talent, or luck. Instead, she simply smiled and said, "I stopped letting fear make my decisions." Think about that for a moment. How many dreams remain unfinished because someone was waiting to feel fearless? The truth is, that day never comes. Successful people feel fear too. They simply refuse to obey it. Fear says, "Wait." Faith says, "Take the next step." Fear says, "You'll fail." Growth says, "You'll learn." Fear says, "You're not ready." Experience says, "You become ready by beginning." You don't have to know every answer before you start. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to impress everyone. You only need enough courage to take the next step, then the next, and then another. Every step weakens fear. Every action builds confidence. Confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence is created through action. So today, ask yourself, what dream have I been postponing because of fear? What opportunity have I ignored because I was afraid of failing? What could story of your life. Let courage hold the pen. Remember this powerful truth. Your future is created by the decisions you make today, not by the fears you entertain. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep growing. And never allow fear to become stronger than your purpose. Because on the other side of fear is the life you've been praying for. But there is another challenge waiting for everyone who chooses to keep going. Even if you overcome fear, there will be days when you feel completely exhausted. Days when you want to stop. Days when nothing seems to be working. How do you keep moving when your strength is almost gone? That is exactly what we'll discover in the next chapter. The next lesson may become your greatest source of strength during life's hardest seasons. Don't miss it. Chapter 4. Keep going even when you feel tired. There is a difference between being tired and being finished. Too many people confuse the two. They experience exhaustion and immediately assume their journey is over. But being tired simply means you've been carrying a heavy load. It does not mean your dream has ended. Every person who has achieved something meaningful has experienced moments when they wanted to stop. The athlete who trained before sunrise. The entrepreneur who worked late into the night. The student who studied while everyone else was asleep. The parent who sacrificed comfort to build a better future for their children. None of them succeeded because the journey was easy. They succeeded because they refused to let temporary exhaustion become a permanent decision. Remember this. Rest is not quitting. Taking a break is not giving up. Recovering your strength is not the same as abandoning your purpose. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is pause, breathe, and prepare yourself for another step forward. The story of Michael's marathon. Michael had dreamed of running a marathon for years. When he finally registered for one, everyone admired his determination. For months, he trained before work. He ran in the rain. He ran under the hot sun. He pushed through sore muscles and early mornings. Finally, race day arrived. Thousands of runners gathered at the starting line. The race began with excitement. For the first few kilometers, Michael felt unstoppable. But halfway through the race, everything changed. His legs became heavy. Every step hurt. His breathing became difficult. The crowd that had once cheered loudly became a blur. Negative thoughts filled his mind. You can't do this. Just stop. No one will blame you. He slowed to a walk. Other runners passed him. Some even dropped out of the race entirely. Michael looked toward the finish line. It was still far away. He felt defeated. Then he noticed something that changed everything. An elderly runner was moving slowly ahead of him. She wasn't fast. She wasn't sprinting. In fact, she looked just as tired as everyone else. But she never stopped moving. Step after step. Minute after minute. She kept going. Michael caught up with her. Curious, he asked, "How do you keep moving when you're this tired?" She smiled and replied, "I stopped focusing on the finish line. I only focus on taking one more step." Those words stayed with him. Instead of worrying about the remaining distance, Michael concentrated on a single step. Then another. Then another. Before he realized it, he could hear the crowd near the finish line. The cheering grew louder. His family stood waiting with tears in their eyes. He crossed the finish line exhausted, but victorious. Later, people congratulated him for completing the marathon. They thought his greatest achievement was finishing the race. Michael disagreed. His greatest victory happened much earlier. It happened the moment he decided not to quit. That decision changed everything. Life often feels like that marathon. Sometimes your dreams seem too far away. Sometimes the challenges feel too heavy. Sometimes progress is painfully slow. When those moments come, don't think about climbing the entire mountain. Don't think about solving every problem today. Don't think about the years ahead. Simply ask yourself, what is the next right step? Maybe it's making one phone call. Maybe it's reading one chapter of a book. Maybe it's practicing your skill for 30 minutes. Maybe it's applying for one more opportunity. Small steps may seem insignificant, but they have incredible power. A river doesn't carve through rock because of one powerful weight. It does so because it keeps flowing. Success is built the same way. Consistency always defeats occasional intensity. You don't need to be the fastest. You don't need to be the smartest. You simply need to keep moving. Some days your progress will be large. Other days it will be almost invisible. Both kinds of days matter, because every step is carrying you toward the person you are becoming. Never underestimate what one more day of effort can accomplish. Never underestimate what one more attempt can produce. Never underestimate what one more act of faith can unlock. When you feel like stopping, remind yourself, I don't have to finish everything today. I only have to keep going today. One day at a time. One decision at a time. One step at a time. That is how impossible dreams become reality. But there is another truth that many people discover too late. Sometimes the hardest battle isn't against failure. It isn't against fear. It isn't even against exhaustion. Sometimes the hardest battle is against the voice inside your own mind. In the next chapter, you'll learn how to silence self-doubt, strengthen your mindset, and develop the inner confidence that allows ordinary people to achieve extraordinary success. Don't miss it, because your greatest victory always begins in your mind. Chapter 5. Silence the voice of self-doubt. There is a battle that no one else can see. It doesn't happen on a stage. It doesn't happen in front of a crowd. It happens quietly inside your mind. Every single day, your mind is speaking to you. The question is, what is it saying? For many people, the voice sounds like this. You're not smart enough. Someone else can do it better. You've already failed too many times. You're too late. You'll never become successful. The frightening part is that after hearing these thoughts long enough, people begin to believe them. And once they believe them, they stop trying. Not because they lack ability, but because they have lost belief. Self-doubt has buried more dreams than lack of talent ever has. It convinces capable people that they are incapable. It convinces strong people that they are weak. It convinces future winners that they have already lost. But here's the truth. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. Your thoughts are powerful, but they are not always accurate. You must learn to question the lies your mind tells you. Replace them with truth. Instead of saying, I can't, ask, how can I? Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, say, I am becoming better every single day. Instead of saying, I've failed, say, I've learned. That simple change can completely transform your future. The story of David's hidden potential. David worked in a small repair shop. He was quiet. He rarely spoke during meetings. Whenever opportunities came to lead a project, he stepped back. He believed other people were more talented. His manager often noticed something different. David solved difficult problems that others couldn't. He stayed calm under pressure. He learned quickly. Yet he never believed in himself. One day, the manager called David into his office. I want you to lead our next project, he said. David immediately refused. I'm not qualified. I'll disappoint everyone. I'm not a leader. The manager smiled. Then he placed a small mirror on the desk. Tell me what you see. Myself, David answered. No, the manager replied. I see someone who has believed the wrong story for years. Those words stayed with David. He accepted the challenge, even though he was terrified. The first few weeks were difficult. He made mistakes. He doubted himself. He wanted to quit more than once. But instead of giving up, he kept learning. He asked questions. He listened carefully. He improved every single day. Months later, the project became one of the company's greatest successes. David was promoted, not because he suddenly became talented, but because he finally gave his talent a chance. Years later, he admitted something that surprised everyone. My greatest obstacle was never my circumstances. It was the story I kept telling myself. How many people are living beneath their potential because of a story they never challenged? How many dreams remain hidden because someone believed they weren't enough? Don't let your past write your future. Don't let yesterday's failures become tomorrow's excuses. Every successful person has moments of doubt. The difference is that they refuse to build a home there. Doubt may knock on your door. You don't have to invite it inside. When negative thoughts appear, answer them with action. When fear says you're weak, take one more step. When failure says you're finished, try one more time. When your mind says it's impossible, remember every obstacle you've already overcome. Look back at your journey. You're stronger today than you were a year ago. You're wiser than you were yesterday. You've survived challenges that once seemed impossible. That means you can survive this one too. The person you want to become is already being shaped by every challenge you face. Nothing is wasted. Every setback is teaching you. Every delay is preparing you. Every difficult season is building strength that success will one day require. Believe in the process. Believe in your growth. Believe that every small step matters. Most importantly, believe that you are capable of far more than your fears have allowed you to imagine. Because once your mind begins to believe, your actions will follow. And when your actions change, your life begins to change. But even the strongest mindset cannot protect you from one reality. There will be people who doubt you. Some will criticize you. Some will laugh at your dreams. Some will tell you that your goals are impossible. How do you keep moving when the people around you stop believing in you? That life-changing lesson is waiting in the next chapter. Stay with me, because learning how to handle criticism could be the very thing that leads you to your greatest victory. Chapter 6. Keep going even when no one believes in you. One of the hardest moments in life is not when strangers doubt you. It is when the people closest to you don't understand your dream. The people you expected to encourage you question your decisions. The people you hoped would support you tell you to give up. Some laugh. Some criticize. Some simply remain silent. It hurts. Not because they are evil, but because their words carry weight. Yet history teaches us something remarkable. Many of the world's greatest success stories began with people who were misunderstood. Before they were admired, they were ignored. Before they were celebrated, they were criticized. Before they inspired millions, they stood alone. If you wait for everyone to believe in you before you begin, you may never begin at all. Sometimes the first person who must believe in your dream is you. The story of Samuel's vision. Samuel lived in a small community where most people believed life would never change. The common belief was simple. Finish school if you can. Find any job you can get. Accept whatever life gives you. Don't dream too big. But Samuel had a different vision. He wanted to build a business that would create opportunities for others. Whenever he spoke about his dream, people smiled politely. Some laughed after he walked away. Others told him, "You're wasting your time. People like us don't become successful. Stop chasing impossible dreams." At first, those words hurt. He began questioning himself. Maybe they were right. Maybe he was dreaming too big. One evening, he visited his grandfather, a man known for his wisdom. Samuel poured out his frustration. "No one believes in me," he said. His grandfather quietly picked up an acorn from the ground. Holding it in his hand, he asked, "What do you see?" "A seed," Samuel replied. His grandfather smiled. "I see a forest." Samuel looked confused. The old man continued, "Everyone sees the seed. Very few people can imagine the tree. Even fewer can imagine the forest." Then he added words Samuel never forgot. "Never expect people to understand the future they cannot yet see." Those words changed everything. Samuel stopped trying to convince everyone. Instead, he focused on improving himself. He learned new skills. He saved every small profit. He kept showing up, even when nobody applauded. The first year was difficult. The second year wasn't much easier. There were setbacks. There were disappointments. There were moments when quitting seemed reasonable. But every challenge strengthened his determination. 5 years later, the same The sun doesn't wait for applause before it rises. A seed doesn't stop growing because nobody notices it beneath the soil. Neither should you. Keep learning. Keep improving. Keep showing up. One day, your consistency will speak louder than your explanations ever could. There is no need to argue with doubters. There is no need to prove yourself with words. Let your actions do the talking. Let your discipline become your voice. Let your results answer every criticism. One successful step is more powerful than 1,000 arguments. And if the road feels lonely, remember this. Every pioneer walks alone before others follow. Every leader stands alone before others believe. Every winner experiences seasons where nobody sees the progress being made. Those lonely seasons are not punishment. They are preparation. They are shaping your character. They are teaching you to depend on purpose instead of praise. Because if praise is your fuel, criticism will stop you. But if purpose is your fuel, nothing can keep you from moving forward. Keep your eyes on your mission. Keep your heart focused on your future. And keep going until you win. Because one day, the same people who question your journey may celebrate your success. Not because you convinced them, but because you never quit. Yet there is one final obstacle that defeats many people before they reach their breakthrough. It isn't fear. It isn't criticism. It isn't failure. It's the temptation to compare your journey with someone else's. In the next chapter, you'll discover why comparison steals joy, destroys confidence, and delays success, and how focusing on your own path can unlock the future you've been working toward. Don't miss it. Chapter 7. Stop comparing your journey to others. One of the fastest ways to lose your confidence is to compare your beginning to someone else's middle. You look at people who seem successful. You see their achievements. You see their victories. You see the applause they receive. What you don't see are the years of struggle, the sleepless nights, the failures, the sacrifices, the tears. You are comparing your behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel. That comparison is unfair. Every person has a different starting point. Some begin with money. Others begin with nothing. Some receive encouragement. Others face criticism every day. Some succeed quickly. Others take years before anyone notices their progress. None of these differences determine your final destination. Your race is unique. Your timing is unique. Your purpose is unique. The only person you should compete with is the person you were yesterday. The story of two bamboo farmers. In a peaceful village lived two farmers, Joseph and Isaac. Both planted bamboo seeds on the same day. They watered their fields every morning. They cared for the soil. They removed weeds. They worked faithfully. After 1 year, nothing appeared. Joseph became frustrated. He looked across the road and saw other farmers harvesting vegetables and fruits. They're succeeding, he thought. I'm wasting my time. But Isaac continued watering his field. Another year passed. Still nothing. People laughed at both men. What kind of seed takes years to grow? Joseph finally gave up. He stopped watering his field. He planted something else instead. Isaac refused to quit. Every day he walked to his field with hope. Every day he cared for soil that looked completely empty. Then, during the 5th year, something amazing happened. Tiny green shoots appeared. Within weeks, the bamboo grew rapidly. Soon it towered high above everything else in the village. People were astonished. It grew so fast. But Isaac smiled. It didn't grow in a few weeks, he said. It spent years growing roots that nobody could see. That is how many dreams are built. Before success becomes visible, character is being formed. Discipline is being developed. Patience is being tested. Strength is growing beneath the surface. If you compare your invisible season to someone else's harvest, you'll miss the miracle happening in your own life. Never assume that because someone is ahead today, they will always remain ahead. Life is not a 100-meter sprint. It is a marathon. Many people start fast. Very few finish strong. Focus on becoming stronger rather than becoming faster. Celebrate other people's victories. Their success does not reduce your opportunity. The sky has enough room for every star to shine. Another person's breakthrough is not proof that you've been forgotten. Your season is coming. Keep preparing. Keep learning. Keep growing. Every day you remain faithful to your purpose, you are building roots that will one day support incredible success. Ask yourself these questions. Am I becoming a better person than I was last year? Have I learned something new? Have I developed greater patience? Have I become more disciplined? If the answer is yes, then you are already winning. Success is not only reaching a destination. Success is becoming the kind of person capable of handling that destination. Don't rush your journey. Don't envy another person's timing. Don't measure your worth by someone else's progress. Your story is being written one chapter at a time. Trust the process. Trust the growth. Trust that every unseen effort matters. Because one day, people will see your success and think it happened overnight. Only you will know about the years you spent growing roots. Never despise slow progress. Slow progress is still progress. As long as you refuse to quit, you are moving closer to your breakthrough. Keep your eyes on your path. Keep your heart fixed on your purpose. And keep going until you win. But there is one lesson that separates those who merely dream from those who finally achieve greatness. It is the power of consistency. In the next chapter, you'll discover why small daily actions create extraordinary results, hear another inspiring story, and learn the habit that transforms ordinary people into unstoppable achievers. Don't miss it, because this lesson could completely change the direction of your life. Chapter 8: The Power of Consistency. If there is one habit that quietly creates extraordinary success, it is consistency. Not talent. Not luck. Not intelligence. Consistency. The world often celebrates dramatic moments. The championship trophy. The successful business. The graduation ceremony. The standing ovation. But those moments are only the visible reward for thousands of invisible decisions made every single day. Success is rarely created in one big moment. It is created in the small choices that nobody applauds. The choice to wake up early. The choice to practice when you don't feel like it. The choice to study instead of making excuses. The choice to save instead of wasting. The choice to try again after another disappointment. These small actions may seem insignificant today, but repeated over weeks, months, and years, they become life-changing. The story of Grace and the piano. Grace was 12 years old when she first touched a piano. She dreamed of playing beautiful music that could inspire people. On her first day, she expected to sound amazing. Instead, every note seemed wrong. Her fingers felt stiff. She couldn't keep rhythm. She watched experienced musicians perform effortlessly, and wondered if she would ever become that good. Several of her friends quit after only a few lessons. "It's too difficult," they said. Grace wanted to quit too, but her teacher gave her one simple instruction. Practice for just 30 minutes every day. Not when you feel motivated. Every day. At first, progress was almost invisible. 1 month passed. Then 3 months. Then a year. Some days she was excited. Other days she was tired. There were evenings when she wanted to skip practice. But she remembered her teacher's words. Consistency beats intensity. So she continued. One practice session at a time. One song at a time. One improvement at a time. Years later, Grace performed on one of the biggest stages in her city. The audience rose to their feet with thunderous applause. After the concert, a young girl approached her and said, "I wish I had your talent." Grace smiled gently. "What you call talent," she replied, "is really thousands of ordinary days when I chose not to quit. That is the secret most people never see. Greatness is built in ordinary moments. When nobody is watching. When nobody is cheering. When nobody is posting about your effort. Those quiet moments shape extraordinary lives. Think about a river. It doesn't cut through solid rock because it is stronger than the rock. It succeeds because it never stops flowing. Day after day. Year after year. Its consistency changes what once seemed impossible. Your life works the same way. You don't have to change everything today. You only need to become faithful to the next small step. And never stop believing that your daily actions are creating a future greater than you can currently imagine. Keep going until you win. But before victory arrives, there is one final test that everyone must face. It is the season of waiting. The season where nothing seems to change. The season where your prayers seem unanswered. The season where giving up feels easier than believing. In the next chapter, you'll discover why waiting is never wasted, hear one of the most inspiring stories in this journey, and learn how patience prepares you for the success you've been working toward. Don't miss it, because your breakthrough may be closer than you think. Chapter 9. Your waiting season is not wasted. There are seasons in life that test everything you believe. You work hard, but nothing seems to change. You pray, but the answer doesn't come. You stay disciplined, but the results remain invisible. During these moments, many people begin to wonder, is all of this worth it? That question has caused countless dreams to die. Not because the dream was impossible, but because the waiting became uncomfortable. The truth is this: waiting is not punishment. Waiting is preparation. A fruit tree does not produce fruit the day it is planted. An architect does not begin building a house without first laying a strong foundation. A child does not become an adult overnight. Everything meaningful takes time. The greatest victories are often preceded by the longest periods of preparation. Never mistake silence for absence. Just because nothing appears to be happening doesn't mean nothing is happening. Some of life's greatest work is invisible. The story of the stone sculptor. In a small town lived an elderly sculptor named Elias. People admired the beautiful statues displayed in his workshop. One day, a young apprentice asked him, "How do you create something so beautiful from an ordinary block of stone?" The old sculptor smiled but didn't answer immediately. Instead, he handed the apprentice a hammer and a chisel. He pointed toward a massive block of granite. "Strike it." The apprentice hit the stone once. Nothing happened. He struck it 10 times. Still nothing. He hit it 100 times. The stone looked exactly the same. Frustrated, he threw down the hammer. "This isn't working." The old sculptor quietly picked up the hammer. He struck the stone several more times. Suddenly, a large crack appeared. The stone split open. The apprentice stared in amazement. "That last strike broke it." The sculptor gently shook his head. "No, it wasn't the last strike. It was every strike that came before it." Each blow had weakened the stone. Each effort had created invisible progress. The final strike simply revealed what thousands of unseen moments had already accomplished. Life works exactly the same way. Every early morning, every late night, every sacrifice, every rejection, every lesson, every failure, every moment you refuse to quit, is another strike against the stone standing between you and your breakthrough. Never believe your effort is wasted because the results aren't immediate. Invisible progress is still progress. A seed grows underground long before it breaks through the soil. The butterfly transforms inside the cocoon before anyone sees its wings. Gold is refined by intense fire before it shines. You are no different. Perhaps this season is strengthening your patience. Perhaps it is building your character. Perhaps it is teaching you humility. Perhaps it is preparing you for responsibilities you could not yet handle. If success arrived before your character was ready, it might destroy you instead of helping you. That is why preparation matters. Trust the process. Trust the lessons. Trust that every challenge is shaping someone stronger than the person who began this journey. One day, people will look at your success and call you lucky. They won't know about the years you spent waiting, the tears nobody saw, the prayers nobody heard, the sacrifices nobody applauded. Only you will know the full story. And because you know the story, you will appreciate the victory more than anyone else. So if today feels slow, keep going. If today feels lonely, keep going. If today feels disappointing, keep going. Because every day you remain faithful is another step toward the life you've been building. Never allow temporary delays to convince you that your dream has been denied. Delay is not defeat. Waiting is not failure. Preparation is not punishment. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a season. And if you remain faithful through the waiting, your time will come. Now we have reached the final lesson of this journey. It is the lesson that brings every chapter together. The lesson that separates those who merely hope from those who eventually win. In the final chapter, you'll discover the mindset that allows ordinary people to achieve extraordinary success, no matter how many times life knocks them down. Stay until the very end, because the final message may become the one lesson you carry with you for the rest of your life. Chapter 10. The person who never quits always has a chance. We have traveled through fear. We have walked through failure. We have faced criticism. We have overcome self-doubt. We have learned the power of consistency. We have endured the waiting season. Now we arrive at the most important truth of all. Winning is not reserved for the smartest. It is not reserved for the richest. It is not reserved for the luckiest. More often than people realize, winning belongs to the person who refuses to quit. Life will knock you down. That is inevitable. There will be days when you feel like nothing is working. Days when people disappoint you. Days when opportunities disappear. Days when your own mind tells you to stop. But remember this. Being knocked down is not the same as being defeated. Defeat only becomes permanent when you decide not to get back up. Every sunrise gives you another opportunity to begin again. Every new day is another chance to become stronger than you were yesterday. The story of the lighthouse keeper. On a rocky coastline stood an old lighthouse. For decades, one man faithfully cared for it. Every evening, no matter the weather, he climbed the winding staircase and lit the great lamp. Some nights the sea was calm. Other nights violent storms crashed against the rocks. The wind howled. Rain poured. Lightning split the sky. There were evenings when no ships could even be seen. A young visitor once asked him, "Why do you keep lighting the lamp when nobody seems to be out there?" The old keeper smiled. "I don't light the lamp because I know someone is watching. I light it because one day, someone will need its light." Years passed. Then one stormy night, a ship lost its direction in the darkness. The captain searched desperately for land. Suddenly, he saw the beam from the lighthouse. That single light guided the ship safely to shore. Dozens of lives were saved. The keeper never knew exactly who had been rescued. He simply remained faithful to his responsibility. There is a powerful lesson in that story. Every day you choose discipline, you are lighting your lamp. Every day you choose kindness, you are lighting your lamp. Every day you choose integrity, you are lighting your lamp. Every day you refuse to quit, you are lighting your lamp. You may not see the impact today. You may never fully know how many lives your perseverance will inspire. But your consistency matters. Your courage matters. Your example matters. Someone is watching your determination. A younger brother, a daughter, a friend, a stranger. Your decision to keep going may become the reason someone else refuses to give up. Never underestimate the ripple effect of persistence. One courageous decision can echo for generations. As you leave this message today, I want you to remember these truths. Failure is not your identity. Fear is not your master. Criticism is not your destiny. Delay is not denial. Slow progress is still progress. Small steps still move you forward. Every challenge you survive becomes evidence that you are stronger than you once believed. So when life becomes difficult, take one more step. When people doubt you, take one more step. When your plans fall apart, take one more step. When you cannot see the finish line, take one more step. Because breakthroughs often arrive disguised as ordinary days. The next phone call could change your life. The next interview could open the right door. The next lesson could reveal the answer you've been searching for. The next attempt could become your greatest success. You simply cannot know what tomorrow holds if you stop today. So promise yourself something. No matter how many times life tests you, you will rise again. No matter how many setbacks come, you will learn again. No matter how many obstacles appear, you will move again. No matter how long it takes, you will keep going until you win. Years from now, you'll look back on this season and realize it wasn't the season that broke you. It was the season that built you. The tears made you stronger. The failures made you wiser. The waiting made you patient. The struggle prepared you for the success that was coming all along. One day, people will ask how you made it. They'll expect a secret. But you'll smile because you'll know the truth. The secret was never luck. The secret was that you refused to quit. So stand up. Believe again. Dream again. Work again. Learn again. Hope again. And keep going. Until you win. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this message encouraged you, remember to like this video, subscribe to Psychology of Success, and share it with someone who may be thinking about giving up today. Because sometimes one message, one decision, and one more step can change an entire life. Until next time, thank you for watching Psychology of Success. If this video brought you value, subscribe, like, and share it with someone who is committed to growth. Remember, success is not something you find, it's something you build, one decision at a time. Because the future belongs to those who take action today. Master your mind. Transform your life. I'll see you in the next lesson. Master your mind. Transform your life. Money flows to those who do this. Have you ever noticed something strange? Two people can earn the same salary. One is always broke. The other keeps growing wealthier after year. They shop in the same markets. They face the same economy. They deal with the same rising prices. Yet their financial futures look completely different. Why? Is money unfair? Does luck choose favorites? Or is there something that wealthy people understand that most people never discover? Here's a truth that may change the way you think forever. Money rarely stays where it is wasted. Money rarely grows where it is ignored. But money has a remarkable way of flowing toward people who consistently develop the habits that create value, seize opportunities, and make wise decisions. This isn't about becoming rich overnight. It isn't about gambling. It isn't about chasing shortcuts. It's about understanding timeless principles that have quietly helped ordinary people build extraordinary financial lives. By the end of this video, you may never look at money the same way again. Because the biggest obstacle between most people and financial freedom isn't their income. It's their mindset and the choices they make every single day. Stay with me until the end, because the final lesson is the one many successful people wish they had learned much earlier in life. Let's begin. Introduction. Money is one of the most misunderstood things in the world. Many people spend years asking, "How can I make more money?" But very few ask, "What kind of person naturally attracts more opportunities?" Think about it. A farmer doesn't stand in an empty field demanding a harvest. He prepares the soil. He plants the seed. He waters it faithfully. He removes the weeds. Then, in time, the harvest comes. Money works in a similar way. It often follows preparation. It follows discipline. It follows trust. It follows value. It follows people who are ready to manage it wisely. Throughout this journey, you'll discover 10 powerful principles that explain why money seems to flow towards certain people. Each chapter includes a story that reveals these principles in action, stories of ordinary people who change their lives through consistent choices rather than instant success. If you're ready to change your financial future, let's begin with the first and perhaps the most important lesson. Chapter 1. Money flows to people who create value. Imagine walking into a busy marketplace. Hundreds of people are selling something. Some leave with empty hands. Others sell out before noon. Why? Because the businesses solving real problems are the ones people return to. Money follows value. This lesson is illustrated by the story of a young man named David. David grew up in a small town where jobs were scarce. Every evening, he sat outside his family's modest home watching people hurry past, wondering why some families always seemed to have enough while others constantly struggled. One afternoon, he met an elderly carpenter named Mr. Samuel. David asked, "Sir, what's the fastest way to become rich?" The old carpenter smiled without answering. Instead, he handed David a rough piece of wood and said, "Make this useful." David tried carving it into a spoon. It broke. He tried again. It looked crooked. He wanted to quit. But Mr. Samuel encouraged him to keep practicing. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, David's work improved. People began buying his wooden spoons, bowls, and chairs. Then restaurants placed larger orders. Hotels wanted handcrafted furniture. Soon, he was teaching others the same skills. One evening, David returned to thank the old carpenter. "I finally understand," he said. "I wasn't getting paid for my time alone. I was getting paid for the value I created." Mr. Samuel nodded. "Exactly. Money is often a reward for solving problems well. The more people you help, the more opportunities tend to come your way." David's life changed because he stopped asking, "How can I get money?" Instead, he began asking, "How can I become so useful that people are happy to pay for what I do?" That single shift transformed his future. And it can transform yours too. Every skill you learn, every problem you solve, every person you help, is a seed that can grow into future opportunities. The question isn't only, "How much do you earn today?" The better question is, "How valuable are you becoming?" Because value attracts opportunity. And opportunity often attracts money. End of Chapter 1. Chapter 2. Money flows to people who take responsibility. There is a sentence that separates people who remain stuck from those who steadily move forward. One group says, "The economy is bad. Nobody is helping me. Life is unfair." The other group says, "What can I do with what I have?" The first group waits. The second group acts. Money rarely rewards excuses. It often rewards responsibility. Responsibility doesn't mean life is always fair. It means choosing to focus on what you can control instead of what you cannot. That choice changes everything. Story: The brothers who chose different paths. There were two brothers named Michael and Joseph. They grew up in the same small neighborhood. Their father worked long hours but struggled to provide for the family. When their father lost his job, the entire household faced difficult times. Both brothers felt the pain. Both saw empty cupboards. Both heard their parents worrying late into the night. Years later, they both finished school and began searching for work. Whenever Michael was rejected, he blamed someone else. "The companies are corrupt. The government doesn't care. The rich only help themselves." Every rejection became another excuse to stop trying. Joseph also faced rejection. He received dozens of no answers. Some days he walked for hours under the hot sun looking for opportunities. He was discouraged. He was tired. He was disappointed. But every evening he asked himself one question: what can I improve before tomorrow? He learned to use a computer at a local learning center. He watched free educational videos. He practiced speaking confidently. He volunteered for small jobs just to gain experience. Months later, a business owner noticed his attitude. The salary wasn't impressive, but Joseph accepted it. He worked hard. He learned everything he could. Within 3 years, he had been promoted several times. Eventually, he started a small business of his own. Meanwhile, Michael was still waiting for the perfect opportunity. One evening, the brothers met again. Michael looked at Joseph's progress and asked, "Why does everything always work out for you?" Joseph smiled gently. "It didn't work out because life was easier for me. It worked out because every time life knocked me down, I decided to stand back up. I stopped waiting for someone to rescue me. I became responsible for the future I wanted." Those words stayed with Michael for a long time. For the first time, he realized something. Blaming the world had never improved his situation. Taking responsibility could. The lesson: responsibility is powerful because it shifts your attention from problems you cannot control to actions you can take today. You may not control where you were born. You may not control the economy. You may not control unexpected setbacks. But you can control your attitude, your willingness to learn, your discipline, your honesty, your effort, your consistency. Every successful person eventually reaches a moment when excuses no longer serve them. That is often the moment their lives begin to change. Money tends to flow toward people others can depend on. Employers trust them. Customers trust them. Business partners trust them. Responsibility builds trust. Trust creates opportunity. And opportunity often creates income. So ask yourself today, are you spending more time explaining why you can't? Or finding ways that you can? Because your future is not built by excuses. It is built by the decisions you make when nobody is watching. In the next chapter, you'll discover why money often flows toward people who never stop learning, even when they have very little to begin with. Chapter 3. Money flows to people who never stop learning. There is one investment that no thief can steal. No fire can burn. No economic crisis can completely destroy. That investment is knowledge. Money comes and goes. Businesses rise and fall. Jobs change. Technology changes. But the knowledge you gain can help you rebuild again and again. Many people spend years hoping for better opportunities while refusing to learn new skills. Successful people understand something different. The more valuable your knowledge becomes, the more valuable you become. And the more valuable you become, the more opportunities you are likely to attract. Knowledge opens doors that money alone cannot. Story: the boy who borrowed books instead of money. In a quiet town lived a young man named Daniel. Daniel dreamed of becoming financially successful, but his family could barely afford 3 meals a day. One afternoon, he walked past a large bookstore. He stared through the glass, wishing he could buy every book inside. But he had no money. For a moment, he felt defeated. "I guess learning is only for rich people," he whispered to himself. An elderly woman standing nearby overheard him. She smiled and said, "Young man, knowledge doesn't always belong to those who can buy books. Sometimes it belongs to those who are willing to look for it." She directed him to a small community library. The building was old. Some shelves were dusty. The chairs were worn out. But inside were hundreds of books waiting to be opened. Daniel made a promise to himself. Every morning before work, he would spend 1 hour reading. At first, it was difficult. Many words were unfamiliar. Some books were hard to understand. But he refused to quit. Weeks became months. Months became years. He learned about communication, leadership, business, saving, investing, sales, human psychology. Most importantly, he learned how successful people think. One day, the owner of a small company visited the library. He noticed Daniel taking careful notes. Curious, he asked, "What are you studying so seriously?" Daniel smiled. "I'm studying the future I want to create." The owner laughed. "I like that answer." They talked for nearly an hour. Impressed by Daniel's attitude and knowledge, the owner offered him an entry-level position. Daniel accepted. He worked hard. He continued learning after work every evening. Whenever the company introduced new technology, Daniel volunteered to master it first. Whenever there was a difficult project, he stepped forward. Promotion after promotion followed. Years later, Daniel became one of the company's directors. At an awards ceremony, a reporter asked him, "What was your greatest investment?" The audience expected him to mention land, stocks, or a successful business. Instead, Daniel smiled. "My greatest investment cost almost nothing. It was the decision to keep learning, even when I had very little." The room fell silent, because everyone understood. His wealth had begun long before his bank account changed. It began the day his mind changed. The lesson: many people pray for bigger opportunities, but opportunities often require bigger skills. Imagine someone gives you 10 million Nigerian nairas to manage a business today. Would you know what to do? If not, the problem isn't only money. The problem is preparation. Preparation creates confidence. Confidence creates action. Action creates results. And results create opportunities. Every book you read, every useful skill you learn, every mistake you study, every mentor you listen to, is quietly preparing you for doors that have not yet opened. Never stop learning, because the world never stops changing. The person who grows the most often earns the most, not overnight, but steadily over time. Remember this: your income may rise to match the value you consistently provide. So invest in your mind every single day. Because money often follows people who are prepared when opportunity finally knocks. Transition to Chapter 4. Now that you've discovered why learning attracts opportunity, the next lesson reveals something many people overlook. It's possible to earn a good income and still remain poor. Why? Because earning money is one skill, but managing money is another. In the next chapter, you'll hear the unforgettable story of a man who earned more every year but never seemed to move forward, and the simple habit that finally changed his financial future. Chapter 4. Money flows to people who respect every naira. Many people believe the secret to wealth is earning more. But here's a truth that surprises many people. You can earn a high income and still have nothing. Money doesn't disappear because it hates people. It often disappears because it is not given a purpose. Every naira that enters your hand asks one question: where do you want me to go? If you don't answer that question, someone else will. Advertisements will answer it. Impulse buying will answer it. Unnecessary spending will answer it. Before you know it, the money you worked so hard to earn is gone. Wealth is not built only by making money. It is built by managing money wisely. People who respect small amounts are often trusted with larger amounts. People who waste small amounts often struggle to keep larger ones. Story: The Two Friends and the Envelope. Two close friends, Emmanuel and Isaac, got jobs at the same company on the same day. They earned exactly the same salary. Every payday, they celebrated together. But they had very different habits. As soon as Emmanuel received his salary, he spent freely. The newest clothes, the latest phone accessories, expensive dinners. If his friends invited him somewhere, he never wanted to say no. By the middle of the month, he was already borrowing money. He would tell himself, "Next month will be different." But it never was. Isaac had a different routine. On payday, before spending a single naira, he took out 5 envelopes. On the first envelope he wrote, "Needs." The second, "Savings." The third, "Learning." The fourth, "Family." The fifth, "Opportunities." His friends laughed at him. "What difference can a few naira make?" Isaac smiled and replied, "I'm not just managing money. I'm managing my future." Months passed, then years. One rainy season, Emmanuel lost his job. He had no savings. Bills piled up. He sold his television, then his generator, then his motorcycle. Every day became a struggle. Around the same time, Isaac also lost his job. But his story was different. Because Because he had consistently saved and planned, he wasn't desperate. He had enough to pay his rent, enough to feed his family, enough time to look for the right opportunity instead of accepting the first one out of fear. A few months later, he used part of his savings to start a small business. It wasn't glamorous. It was a modest shop selling household essentials. He treated every customer with respect. The business grew steadily. 5 years later, Emmanuel visited Isaac. He looked around the thriving business and asked quietly, "How did you become so successful?" Isaac smiled. "It didn't happen the day I opened this shop. It began years earlier, the day I decided to give every naira a job." Emmanuel lowered his head. He finally understood. Small daily decisions had created two completely different futures. The lesson: many people think financial freedom begins when they earn more. Often, it begins when they manage what they already have. This doesn't mean you should never enjoy your money. It means enjoying it wisely. Spend intentionally. Save consistently. Avoid buying things just to impress people who aren't paying your bills. Remember, a small leak can sink a great ship. Likewise, small careless spending, repeated every day, can quietly destroy big dreams. On the other hand, small wise decisions, repeated consistently, can build a future that once seemed impossible. Ask yourself today, when your next income arrives, will you tell your money where to go? Or will you wonder where it went? Because money often flows toward people who respect every naira they earn. Transition to Chapter 5. The next lesson is one of the hardest for many people to accept. It asks you to do something uncomfortable, to delay pleasure today, so you can enjoy greater freedom tomorrow. In the next chapter, you'll hear the moving story of a young woman who gave up short-term comfort, endured years of sacrifice, and discovered that patience can become one of the greatest wealth-building habits of all. Chapter 5. Money flows to people who choose discipline over comfort. We live in a world that celebrates. Right now. Buy it now. Eat it now. Spend it now. Enjoy it now. But wealth is rarely built on the habit of wanting everything immediately. It is built by people who can say one powerful word. Later. Later, I'll buy the expensive car. Later, I'll upgrade my phone. Later, I'll reward myself. Not because they don't enjoy life, but because they understand that today's discipline can become tomorrow's freedom. Discipline is difficult at first, but regret is often much more painful. Money has a strange habit. It often stays longer with people who can control their desires than with people who cannot. Story: the woman who said not yet. There was a young woman named Grace. She had just landed her first well-paying job. On her first payday, she felt unstoppable. Her friends immediately began making plans. "Let's celebrate! You deserve a new phone. You've worked so hard. Buy yourself something expensive." Grace was tempted. She walked into a large electronics store. She held the newest smartphone in her hands. It was beautiful. The salesperson smiled and said, "You can even pay in installments." For several minutes, Grace imagined herself leaving the store with the phone. But then she remembered something her late father had told her before he passed away. He used to say, "Never let today's excitement steal tomorrow's peace." Grace slowly placed the phone back on the shelf. She smiled politely and walked away. Her friends laughed. "You're too serious. You only live once." Months turned into a year. While many of her friends upgraded phones, bought designer clothes, and lived from paycheck to paycheck, Grace quietly saved and learned about business. Every month she invested part of her income. Some months were difficult. Sometimes she wanted to give up. Sometimes she wondered if she was missing out on life. Then something unexpected happened. The company where she worked announced major layoffs. Many employees panicked. Some had loans they couldn't repay. Others had no savings at all. Grace felt concerned, but not helpless. Because of her discipline, she had enough savings to cover her expenses for several months. Instead of rushing into another job, she used part of her savings to open a small bakery. The first week, she sold only a few loaves of bread. She questioned herself. Did I make the wrong decision? But she kept showing up. She improved her recipes. She listened to customers. She arrived before sunrise every morning. Word spread. People began recommending her bakery. Soon there were long lines outside her shop every weekend. 3 years later, Grace owned 3 bakery branches and employed dozens of people. One afternoon, one of her old friends visited. Looking around the busy bakery, she smiled and asked, Grace, when did you become lucky? Grace laughed softly. Lucky? She pointed toward an old framed photo hanging on the wall. It was a picture of her first tiny bakery. I wasn't lucky. I simply kept saying not yet when everyone else kept saying right now. Her friend stood quietly. For the first time, she understood. The little sacrifices Grace made years ago had become the foundation of the life she was living today. The lesson: discipline isn't about living a miserable life. It's about making wise choices consistently. Every time you resist an unnecessary expense, every time you save before spending, every time you invest in your future instead of chasing temporary pleasure, you are casting a vote for the life you want tomorrow. Remember this. Successful people don't become disciplined after they become wealthy. Many become wealthy because they practiced discipline long before anyone noticed. Ask yourself, what comfort am I holding on to today that might be keeping me from a better future? What small sacrifice could create a greater reward later? Because every wise decision you make today becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. Money often flows toward people who can delay temporary pleasure in order to build lasting freedom. Transition to Chapter 6. The next lesson may surprise you. Many people believe hard work alone creates wealth. Hard work is important. But there is something equally powerful. It's called trust. In the next chapter, you'll discover why money often flows to people whose character makes others confident to work with them, buy from them, and recommend them. And you'll hear the unforgettable story of a shopkeeper whose honesty changed his entire life. Chapter 6. Money flows to people who earn trust. There is something more valuable than money. It is something you cannot buy in a supermarket. You cannot borrow it from a bank. And you cannot fake it forever. It is trust. Trust is invisible. Yet it opens doors that qualifications alone cannot. People buy from those they trust. Employers promote those they trust. Investors partner with those they trust. Friends recommend those they trust. When trust grows, opportunities grow. And when opportunities grow, money often follows. Character may not pay you today, but over time, it can become one of your greatest financial assets. Story: the shopkeeper who returned the extra money. In a busy town lived a humble shopkeeper named Adebayo. His shop wasn't the biggest. It wasn't the most beautiful. In fact, there were many larger stores nearby. Some people wondered how his small shop managed to survive. Every morning before sunrise, Adebayo would sweep the front of his shop. He greeted every customer with a smile. Whether someone bought a loaf of bread or a full basket of groceries, he treated them with the same respect. One afternoon, an elderly woman visited his shop. She bought a few household items and paid quickly before leaving. As Adebayo counted the money, he realized she had mistakenly given him 20,000 Nigerian nairas instead of 2,000 Nigerian nairas. For a moment he stood still. No one had noticed. He could have kept the money. Business had been slow that week. His own rent was due. His children needed school supplies. The temptation was real. But after a few seconds he locked his shop and ran down the street searching for the woman. After several minutes he found her boarding a bus. Breathing heavily, he called out, "Madam! Please wait!" She turned around, confused. Adebayo handed her the extra 18,000 Nigerian nairas. "You accidentally gave me too much." The woman's eyes filled with tears. "My son," she whispered. "I didn't even realize it." She thanked him repeatedly before leaving. Adebayo returned to his shop, thinking nothing more of it. A week later, a black SUV stopped outside his store. A well-dressed gentleman stepped out. "I've been looking for you," he said. Adebayo looked puzzled. The man smiled. "The woman you helped is my mother. She couldn't stop talking about your honesty. I own several supermarkets. I need someone I can trust to manage one of my new branches." Adebayo was speechless. The man continued, "I can teach business. I can train skills. But honesty, that's much harder to teach." Months later, Adebayo became the branch manager. Years later, he became a business partner. His income multiplied many times over. Not because he chased money, but because he protected something even more valuable: his integrity. The lesson: many people think success is about being the smartest person in the room. But intelligence without integrity rarely creates lasting success. Your reputation follows you wherever you go. People are always watching. Not only when you succeed, but especially when no one seems to be watching. Every promise you keep, every honest decision you make, every time you admit a mistake, every time you choose what is right instead of what is easy, you are building trust. And trust is like planting seeds. You may not see the harvest immediately, but one day, those seeds can grow into opportunities you never imagined. Ask yourself today, if someone had to recommend one person for a life-changing opportunity, would your name come to their mind? Would they say, "I trust that person"? Because in business, in employment, in leadership, and even in friendships, trust is a currency that never loses its value. Money often flows toward people whose character gives others confidence. So protect your name. Guard your integrity. Keep your word. Because a good reputation can open doors that money alone never could. Transition to Chapter 7. The next lesson separates dreamers from achievers. Many people have brilliant ideas. Many people make wonderful plans. Many people wait for the perfect time. But while they are waiting, someone else is taking action. In the next chapter, you'll hear the inspiring story of a young man who stopped waiting for perfect conditions, took a small step with what he had, and discovered that action, not perfection, is often what causes money to begin flowing. Chapter 7. Money flows to people who take action. There is a silent dream killer that has stolen more opportunities than failure ever has. Its name is procrastination. It whispers, "Start tomorrow. Wait until you have more money. Wait until you know everything. Wait until the timing is perfect." But here's the truth: perfect conditions rarely exist. The people who change their lives are usually not the ones who know the most. They are the ones who act on what they know. Every successful business, every successful career, every successful investment, every great achievement started with someone taking a small step before they felt completely ready. Money doesn't flow to ideas that stay inside notebooks. It flows to ideas that are put into action. Story: the young man who waited too long. There were two close friends named Samuel and Peter. Ever since they finished school, they talked endlessly about starting a business. Every evening they met under a mango tree near their neighborhood. Samuel would say, "One day we'll own a big company." Peter would smile, "And people will come from everywhere to buy from us." They had dreams. Big dreams. But every time they planned to start, Samuel found another reason to wait. "I need more capital. I need a better laptop. I need an office. I need the perfect logo. I need everything to be ready." Peter listened quietly. One day he said, "What if we start small?" Samuel laughed. "Small businesses never become successful." Peter didn't argue. Instead, he borrowed a small table from his uncle. He used his savings to buy a few products. His shop was nothing more than a wooden table by the roadside. People laughed at him. "Is this your big business? You call this success?" Some days he sold almost nothing. Other days he wondered if Samuel had been right. But every evening he learned something new. He learned which products customers wanted. He learned how to talk to people. He learned how to keep records. He learned how to treat customers with respect. Every mistake became a lesson. Every lesson made him better. Months passed. The wooden table became a kiosk. The kiosk became a small shop. The small shop became a supermarket. Years later, Peter owned several branches across different towns. One afternoon, Samuel visited one of the stores. He stood quietly, looking around at the busy customers. Finally, he asked, "Peter, how did you build all this?" Peter smiled. "I stopped waiting." Samuel lowered his head. "I had the same dream." Peter placed a hand on his friend's shoulder. "No, Samuel. You had the same idea. A dream only begins to change your life when your feet start moving." Those words pierced Samuel's heart. He realized that while he had been waiting for perfect conditions, Peter had been creating opportunities with imperfect ones. That very week, Samuel decided to stop delaying. He started with what little he had. His beginning wasn't perfect, but it was a beginning. And that made all the difference. The lesson? Many people believe they need confidence before taking action. In reality, confidence often comes after action. The first step may be frightening. The second step becomes easier. The third step builds momentum. Every action teaches you something that thinking alone never will. You don't need to know everything before you begin. You simply need to know enough to take the first responsible step. Remember this. A tiny seed does not become a mighty tree overnight. It grows because it keeps moving in the right direction. Your first attempt may not succeed. Your second may not either. But every attempt gives you experience. And experience is one of the greatest teachers money can never buy. So ask yourself today, what dream have I been postponing? What opportunity have I been delaying because I wanted everything to be perfect? What small action can I take today that my future self will thank me for? Never underestimate small beginnings. The biggest companies in the world once started as small ideas. The greatest journeys began with a single step. And many financially successful people began with very little, except the courage to start. Because money often flows to those who stop waiting and start doing. Transition to Chapter 8. The next lesson is one that quietly shapes your future every single day. You may not even notice it. Yet it has the power to lift you higher, or keep you where you are. It's the people you choose to spend your time with. In the next chapter, you'll hear the remarkable story of a young man whose life changed completely after one unexpected conversation, proving that sometimes one relationship can redirect an entire future. Chapter 8. Money flows to people who choose the right people. Take a moment and think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. What do they talk about? Do they discuss ideas? Or gossip? Do they encourage growth? Or make excuses? Do they celebrate your progress? Or secretly hope you stay where you are? Whether we realize it or not, the people around us shape the way we think. They influence our decisions, our habits, our confidence, and eventually, our financial future. You don't become successful simply because you know successful people. But being surrounded by people who challenge you to grow can change the direction of your life. Your circle can either become a ladder or an anchor. Story: one conversation that changed everything. There was a young man named Tund. He worked as a motorcycle mechanic in a small workshop. He was hardworking, honest, always on time. But every evening after work, he spent hours sitting with a group of friends. Their conversations were always the same. The rich are lucky. Nothing good ever happens here. Why try? Life is already decided. Day after day, month after month. Those words slowly became Tund's own beliefs. Without realizing it, he stopped dreaming. He stopped learning. He stopped expecting anything better. One rainy afternoon, a black SUV broke down near the workshop. An elderly businessman stepped out. Tund repaired the vehicle quickly. The businessman watched him carefully. "You work with great attention," he said. Tund smiled. "My father taught me that if you're going to do something, do it well." The businessman nodded. Before leaving, he handed Tund a business card. If you ever want to learn about business, come and see me. For several days, Tund kept the card in his pocket. His friends laughed. Forget that old man. People like us don't become businessmen. You're dreaming too much. For the first time in his life, Tund ignored their advice. The following Saturday, he visited the businessman. Instead of giving him money, the businessman gave him books. He taught him how to save, how to serve customers, how to keep proper records, how to build trust. Every weekend, Tund learned something new. Months later, he noticed something. His conversations were changing. Instead of talking about problems, he was talking about solutions. Instead of blaming others, he was improving himself. Eventually, he opened a small automobile service center. He treated every customer with honesty. When he didn't know something, he learned it. When he made a mistake, he admitted it. Satisfied customers kept returning. They brought friends. Those friends brought their families. Years passed. His small workshop grew into one of the most respected automobile service centers in the city. One day, Tund met his old friends again. They looked at his business in amazement. One of them asked, "Tund, what changed?" He smiled and replied, "I changed the voices I listened to. I stopped spending all my time with people who only complained. I started spending time with people who challenged me to become better." Then he added quietly, "Your future often begins to change the moment your environment changes." Those words stayed with his friends long after he walked away. The lesson: the people around you influence more than your mood. They influence your standards. If everyone around you quits easily, quitting begins to feel normal. If everyone around you wastes money, careless spending begins to feel normal. But when you're surrounded by people who learn, who build, who work with integrity, who dream bigger, you begin to believe that growth is possible for you too. This doesn't mean you should abandon your old friends. It means you should wisely choose whose advice shapes your future. Find people who inspire you. Learn from mentors. Read books written by people with experience. Listen to conversations that make you think bigger instead of smaller. Because your environment either feeds your potential or slowly drains it. Ask yourself today, who is helping me become the person I want to be? Who is pulling me away from my goals? What conversations am I feeding my mind every day? Remember, one encouraging voice can change a life. One wise mentor can change a future. One meaningful relationship can open doors that years of struggle never could. Money often flows toward people who intentionally surround themselves with wisdom, growth, and positive influence. Transition to Chapter 9. The next lesson is one of the most overlooked principles of financial success. Many people know how to earn money. Some even know how to save it. But very few know how to make money continue working for them. In the next chapter, you'll hear the inspiring story of a gardener who discovered that the greatest wealth doesn't come from spending every reward. It comes from planting seeds that keep producing long into the future. Chapter 9. Money flows to people who make their money work. Most people work for money. But financially wise people eventually learn something different. They also make their money work for them. Imagine planting a mango seed. If you eat the seed, your hunger may disappear for a day. But if you plant it, water it, protect it, one day it becomes a tree that produces fruit for years. Money works the same way. Every time you earn money, you have a choice. Spend all of it, or allow part of it to grow into something bigger. This doesn't happen overnight. It takes patience. It takes wisdom. It takes consistency. But over time, the rewards can be extraordinary. Story: the gardener who understood the secret. In a peaceful village lived a gardener named Musa. Every morning before sunrise, Musa walked through his small garden, caring for his vegetables and fruit trees. His harvest wasn't large, but it was enough to provide for his family. One day, his nephew Ibrahim came to visit. Uncle Musa had just sold a good harvest and received a decent amount of money. Ibrahim smiled and said, "Uncle, you've worked so hard. Why don't you spend it all? Buy yourself new clothes. Buy a bigger television. Enjoy life." Musa smiled. Instead of answering, he picked up 2 mangoes from a basket. He handed one to Ibrahim. Then he held the other in his own hand. "Eat yours," he said. Ibrahim quickly ate the sweet fruit. It was delicious. Then Musa carefully removed the seed from his mango. He walked outside and planted it in the ground. Ibrahim laughed. "Why didn't you eat the whole thing?" Musa smiled. "I did enjoy the fruit. But I refused to eat my future." Years passed. Ibrahim continued spending almost everything he earned. Whenever he received extra money, it disappeared within weeks. Meanwhile, every season Musa planted more seeds. Not only in his garden, but also in his finances. Whenever he earned money, he set aside a portion. He bought better farming tools. He expanded his land little by little. He learned new farming methods. He invested in irrigation during the dry season. Slowly, his small garden became a thriving farm. One afternoon, many years later, Ibrahim returned. He stood beneath the shade of a giant mango tree. "Uncle," he asked softly, "is this the same seed you planted years ago?" Musa nodded. "Yes." Ibrahim looked across the fields. There were workers harvesting fruit, trucks loading produce, customers arriving from nearby towns. Tears filled his eyes. "I thought you were just planting a seed." Musa placed a hand on his shoulder. "I wasn't planting a seed. I was planting tomorrow." Those words echoed in Ibrahim's heart. For the first time, he understood why some people seemed to grow wealthier after year. They didn't consume everything they received. They allowed part of it to grow. The lesson: every income you receive carries 2 possibilities. One part can meet today's needs. Another part can help build tomorrow. This doesn't require being wealthy before you start. It requires developing the habit of thinking beyond today. Before making a purchase, ask yourself, will this still matter in 5 years? Could part of this money help create future opportunities instead? Sometimes the wisest financial decision isn't buying more. It's building something that continues to produce value over time. Whether it's learning a new skill, starting a small business, saving consistently, or making thoughtful investments after careful research. The principle is the same. Plant seeds today that can produce fruit tomorrow. Remember this: a farmer never expects a harvest the same day he plants. He trusts the process. Watering, waiting, working, growing. Financial success often follows the same pattern. Small, wise decisions repeated consistently over many years can create remarkable results. So don't spend every harvest. Plant part of it. Protect part of it. Grow part of it. Because money often flows to people who don't simply earn. They build. Transition to Chapter 10. We've reached the final lesson. This is the principle that ties every chapter together. You can create value. You can keep learning. You can manage your money wisely. You can build trust. You can invest for the future. But without this final habit, it's difficult to sustain success. In the last chapter, you'll discover why gratitude, generosity, and a long-term mindset often open doors that money alone never can. And you'll hear the unforgettable story of a man who discovered that the richest people are not always those who have the most, but those who make the greatest impact on others. Chapter 10. Money flows to people who give more value than they take. We've reached the final chapter. If you've listened carefully, you may have noticed something. Not one chapter told you to chase money. Instead, every chapter encouraged you to become the kind of person who naturally attracts opportunities. Why? Because money is often a result, not the goal. The greatest businesses in the world became successful because they solved problems. The greatest leaders became influential because they served people. The greatest entrepreneurs built trust before they built wealth. When you focus only on taking, people eventually pull away. But when you focus on creating value, helping others, keeping your word, and leaving people better than you found them, money often follows. This is not about giving away everything you own. It is about living with a mindset of contribution instead of selfishness. Ask yourself every day, how can I make someone's life a little better today? That simple question can change your future. Story: The Baker Who Never Forgot the Hungry Child. In a quiet town lived a baker named Chinidu. He wasn't famous. He didn't own the biggest bakery. He simply loved making fresh bread every morning. Before sunrise, while most people were still asleep, Chinidu was already kneading dough. His customers loved him, not only because his bread tasted good, but because he treated everyone with kindness. One cold morning, as he opened his bakery, he noticed a little boy standing outside. The boy stared through the glass at the fresh loaves. His clothes were worn. His slippers were torn. His eyes revealed a hunger deeper than words could express. Chinidu walked outside. "My son," he asked gently, "have you eaten today?" The boy shook his head. "I was hoping someone might have leftovers." Without hesitation, Chinidu placed a warm loaf of bread into the boy's hands. The child looked surprised. "I don't have any money." Chinidu smiled. "I'm not selling this one. I'm sharing it." The boy smiled for the first time that day. "Thank you, sir." Then he disappeared into the crowd. Years passed. Business had its ups and downs. Some years were excellent. Others were difficult. Still, Chinidu never stopped treating people with kindness. He believed that doing the right thing was never wasted. One afternoon, a luxury car stopped outside his bakery. A well-dressed gentleman stepped out. He looked around the bakery with tears in his eyes. "Do you remember me?" he asked. Chinidu looked closely. "I'm sorry. I don't." The man smiled. "Many years ago, you gave a hungry little boy a loaf of bread. I was that boy." Chinidu's eyes widened. The man continued. "I never forgot your kindness. My mother and I survived that difficult season because of people like you. Today, I own several hotels across the country. We're looking for one bakery to supply fresh bread to every branch." He paused. "I came here because I trust your heart before I trust your bread." Chinidu was speechless. What seemed like one small act of kindness years earlier had become an opportunity beyond anything he imagined. The contract transformed his business. He hired more workers, opened new bakeries, created jobs for dozens of families. But whenever people congratulated him, he always smiled and said, "My biggest investment wasn't flour. It was the decision to treat people well." The lesson: life has a remarkable way of returning what we consistently give. When you become known as someone who is honest, reliable, generous, hardworking, and genuinely helpful, people remember you. They recommend you. They trust you. And trust creates opportunities. Remember, not every act of kindness will immediately lead to financial success. Not every good deed will bring instant rewards. But living with integrity and serving others well builds a reputation that money cannot buy. The wealthiest life is not measured only by the size of your bank account. It is also measured by the number of lives you positively influence. So wherever you are today, whether you're just starting your journey, building a business, learning a new skill, or working toward financial freedom, never forget this truth. Money is important, but character is priceless. Success without integrity is temporary. Wealth without purpose is empty. The people who build lasting financial success are often those who combine wisdom with humility, discipline with generosity, and ambition with service. Because in the end, money flows to those who create value. It flows to those who keep learning. It flows to those who take responsibility. It flows to those who respect every one Nigerian naira they earn. It flows to those who choose discipline over comfort. It flows to those who earn trust. It flows to those who take action. It flows to those who surround themselves with the right people. It flows to those who plant seeds for the future. And above all, money flows to those who leave the world better than they found it. Thank you for staying until the end of this journey. If this message inspired you, don't let it end here. Choose just one principle from this video and begin practicing it today. A year from now, your life could look completely different, not because of luck, but because of the small, wise decisions you made consistently. Remember, your future is created by what you do today. And as always, master your mind. Transform your life. Thank you for watching Psychology of Success. If this video brought you value, subscribe, like, and share it with someone who is committed to growth. Remember, success is not something you find, it's something you build, one decision at a time. Because the future belongs to those who take action today. Master your mind. Transform your life. I'll see you in the next lesson.